designs. I have to make a graduation card anyways, so we'll make a graduation card. I already started it by opening up my canvas, and I made it's going to be a 5x7 card, so it's all here already. I used set canvas, and then you pick whatever it is that you're going to make. I'm going to make a 5x7 card. So here we have the blank card. The line here, that's the scoring line, so that's where you're going to fold your card after you cut it. So the first thing you're going to want to do, obviously, is to put designs, images, and text into this card. So you can do several things. You can insert an image, and if you click here, you'll end up in the Cricut library. They have some free ones that you can use, or you can subscribe to the access where you get access to thousands of prints for a monthly fee. I believe right now it's $7.99. Or you can upload your own image. The best images to upload would be JPEG files, any kind of image file. But I basically use JPEG or the PNG, or even the GIFs, I believe uploads in here, or the SVG files. But you would have to save it onto your computer and then upload it here, and then it becomes part of your library. It'll be stored in your account. You can use it next time, so you don't have to keep uploading. Or you can insert a shape. If you click on this, there's a bunch of free shapes that you can use, and you can size it. You can make different colors. You can kind of weld them together to make different images and stuff, but that'll be a little bit more advanced. Then also you add text by clicking onto the text button, and the text button will show here, and you can type in whatever text you want. Then when you go into the edit screen, you can choose the font. There are Cricut fonts that you can purchase. There's also some, obviously, that are part of your access if you choose to subscribe to that, or if you have cartridges from your old Cricut machines, then you can upload the cartridge and connect it onto your new Cricut Explorer, because the design space is really to work with the Cricut Explorer, the Cricut Explorer Air. So also it'll use your system fonts, and a really good source for cool fonts would be dafont.com. That's DAFONT.com. It's got tens of thousands of fonts. You choose the one you want. You can download it, then you save it and install it into your computer. So it becomes part of the system fonts that's in your computer. Now, to make this a little bit easier, I kind of did all the work in advance so that you don't have to watch me go through it for 20-30 minutes or whatever. So the first thing I'd like to do is, when I do have a blank card like this, I like to layer different colored cardstocks to kind of give it some dimension and give it the color. But you can make your card base, this is actually called your card base, any color that you want. So I've already done, like, the first thing I do is I like to put a square on top, and this will be pasted onto my card base. This is my card front. So I put that square, kind of made a little smaller than the 5x7 here, so that it's kind of framed a little bit. Then I like to put another layer. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm doing this one. I found it online. Be very careful. You have to purchase some images. Some images are free. It just depends. But this one I grabbed offline, and I saved it onto my computer, and I uploaded it onto my Design Space library. Then I sized it so it'll fit, so it'll be nicely framed on top of this one right here. Now this is it's basically the Dr. Seuss Oh, the Places You'll Go book. I love that book, and I think it's super great for graduation. So obviously now I want to put some text on here. Okay, by the way, because what I chose to do this, it's going to print on my printer. That's like a really cool thing with the new Cricut Explorer. You calibrate it to your printer, and then when you send it to go, it prints on your printer, and then you move the printed page onto a cutting mat, and you put it into the Cricut, and it'll cut whatever the image is. So in this one, this is going to print first on white paper. You kind of have to use white because otherwise the cutting machine won't read whatever it is that they put on there so that it can cut the right shape or whatever for the image. But in this case, it's good. I'm going to use white cardstock. So always use white paper when you're going to do print then cut. So then obviously like I said, I want to put text. So I already wrote the text, and the text is, "Oh, the places you'll go." Now, if I leave it like this, if you see the little thing over here, it's got scissors. That means it's going to cut out these letters one by one, and then I would have to glue it. I don't really want to do that. I want it printed onto this piece right here. So I'm going to take this, then I'm going to hold the Shift key, and I'm going to click this square as well. So now if you notice here, you've got, actually that's the wrong one. So I'm going to click this, and then I'm going to click this right here. So we have O, the text, and then the image, the picture. We have them both highlighted. So now I'm going to flatten it. So flatten means this now, see, they're all together. It's all together. This means that it will print the "Oh, the places you'll go" onto this piece right here, where the picture is, and then it will cut it. So the letters won't be cut out individually anymore. They'll just be printed on here, and then it'll cut that rectangle, and then we'll glue it on top of that. So that's kind of how I want the front part of my card to look. Now I'm going to work on the inside part, but again, I like to layer the inside. So what I'll do is I'll set this aside, and we'll pretend that we're looking at the inside of our card. So, you know, after you've unfolded it, the recipient has unfolded it, he's going to be looking at the front of the card. So here again, I like to layer. So here's my first layer. Again, I just really duplicated that blue right there, and to duplicate, you press the little button here, and it'll make you the same exact size, same exact everything of whatever it is you want to duplicate. Now, on top of this, obviously, I want some writing and some design, so I made another little white one because I'm going to print on this. Remember, when we print and cut, it's got to be on white, so it's going to be white. And I'm going to put some print on there, and I already printed it out. So it's the rest of the quote from that book. It says, "Today is your day, you're off to great places, you're off and away." So I'm going to want to put that there, but I'm not quite ready to attach it or flatten it yet because I do want other images on here. And I thought this would be really cute, so I kind of have this fish. Now this fish is going to be print and cut. That's why you'll see here it says print and cut, because if it's just a cutting file, it's just going to be scissors. So you can do that in the layers, and if you look here, you can change it. This is cut, this is writing on the Cricut machine, this is just scoring with a scoring tool, and this is printing onto your computer and then cutting onto your Cricut. So I want this fish there, but I want to put it here so I know where I'm going to attach this to or flatten this to so it prints, because I don't want to be guessing. So I've got that one, and then on this one I want to put, because it is a graduation, I want to put this little graduation hat on him, but it's going to be glued. Now this one I'm not going to print, I'm just going to cut it. So if you notice over here, it just has the scissors, but I wanted it to make sure. So, you know, here, if you notice, I didn't put the tassel because I thought that would be a cute embellishment, is to use the, make a little tassel for it and then just glue that on there so it'll kind of stand out a little bit. But you do that when you start putting the cards together. So now if I'm sure, I'm going to want a fish here with his little cap. Where do I want this? Because now I want to leave space on the top where I'm going to put "to the recipient," and then I also want to be able to maybe stamp something on the bottom like "congratulations" or sign the card or whatever. So kind of want this centered right here. Now I'm going to, because I want it printed and onto this white piece, I'm going to highlight that, hold down my shift, and then highlight it and make sure it's attached to the white square, and then I'm going to say flatten. Okay, now once it's flattened, see, it's attached. You can no longer take it apart. You can't move the today's or your day anymore. It's now attached to this card. So it means that when we're ready to print, it'll print this on the computer and then it will cut it out to this shape. So let's see how that's going to look. I'm going to move that backwards. That's a little thing that will show you how to arrange. Obviously mine isn't working right today, so I'll just move that to the front so that I can see it. Otherwise it's hiding back there. So there you go. We have all the pieces that we're going to print. So we've pretty much designed this card to the way I want it to look. Unfortunately, one of the things that I don't like about the Cricut Explorer is I cannot share my cutting files. But what I can do is I can share the template, and then you can either upload it to yours, or if you really wanted to, print it and cut it out by hand. I mean, it's doable. These machines are great to have. I love mine. My daughter had gifted it to me a year or so ago, and I've been playing with it, and I've just been able to create so many things with it. But one of the simplest things to do is, of course, a card. But it does so much more. It'll cut material. It'll cut light thin wood, it cuts foam, it cuts a variety of media, and then it allows you to get really creative. You can use it for scrapbooking, card making, even home decor, even jewelry making, believe it or not. They've got a lot of ideas if you go to the Cricut space, when you log on, there's a little tutorial thing, and it'll show you all the things that you can do. But one of the basic things to start with when you're just learning is obviously a card, and the simplest one the better. One thing to always remember, otherwise you'll end up with a mess, is if you want to print something first, like your text, like what I did here, you have to remember to flatten. Otherwise it won't print, it'll start cutting it out. And you don't want that, because then you're going to have to glue each piece. And believe me, I went that route in the beginning because I just didn't know any better, and it took me forever to make one thing because I was having to paste each little card and make sure that it was all in this, lined up nicely. I made a mess. Although there will be times where you're going to want to do that, but right now I don't want to do that. So this is what we're going to do. So now we're going to save this, and it's now saved to my my online account, because this is cloud-based, so everything is saved there. It doesn't save to your computer, and you access it through the file once you're logged in. By the way, you have to create an account once you get your Cricut, or I guess even if you don't, you can actually use it, but I don't know what you would use it with, because when you hit go, it'll send everything to your Cricut machine, and you have to go, and you actually have to have a Cricut Explorer. I don't believe the design space works for the other older machines, but I'm not really too familiar with any of the older ones, so I can't speak for that. But anyway, that's our design, and in a few minutes we will start cutting it and putting it together. And so I'll make actually probably a separate video on the cutting so you can see how it cuts, and then putting it together. Well, that's really easy. Pretty much all you need is glue. Making your own card, it will save you a lot of money. I love it because cards have gotten so expensive. And also it allows you to make what you want, choose the colors you want, put in what you want to say. And it's always extra special because it's a handmade card, and everybody always appreciates handmade. I know I do, because you took the time to make it for them. So anyways, we'll see you in a